within himself. He thought he had plenty of time. One night he was out with buddies. They had an accident. He was ejected from the vehicle and was killed. At that point, I could have lost it all. I could have went back to drinking and drugging very easily. But the one thing that kept me where I am, grounded, steadfast today, was the faith that the higher power, that God, gave me that challenge so that I could learn, so that I could grow, and that I could pass it on to others who have the same situation in their life. Sometimes there's no words to a parent who's lost a child that can make a difference. But one thing that I can tell a parent who has lost a child, I know how you feel. And I hurt with you. And I can tell them that it does get better. It still hurts. But I've learned to live with the pain and use that pain. That's the kind of faith that I have. That's the kind of faith that I wish for you to have. And in this life, if we take care of the 4 natural laws that my grandmother, Apache woman, her name is Vina, taught me. She took me under her wing and taught me the things that her father had shown her. The first thing is take care of Mother Earth. It's the only one we got. She's our mother. They're not making new real estate. If this planet goes down, we go down with it. Take care of your brothers and sisters. Not just those blood relations, but those that are out there in the world. Those that are sitting next to you here. And take only what you need in life so that others may have. If I take more than my share, then someone's going to do without. And that includes someone else's time. Because they have family to tend to. They have other things to tend to. And so be mindful of taking someone's time. And then the last of the 4 natural laws. Take care of yourself so that you can do the other 3. Nobody's going to take care of you but you. And if you don't, then all 4 laws don't happen. I want to open it up for questions and answers. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. If I can, I will. If I can't, I'll tell you I don't know that, but I can find out and get back to you, okay? Because I don't know it all. I never have pretended to know it all, but we can see what it is that you want to ask. So if there's any questions, let's have a question. Yes?
Can you accept gratitude for sharing your story? Thank you very much.
Absolutely, I can.
As you were speaking, the wind passed through. The wind joined you on your talk. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am, the back.
I do appreciate your talk, and I appreciate your honesty, but I do have a question, and I've had this question for a long time. A lot of that change your mind and you change your health is also a New Age belief and way of looking at things. And my question is always this, what about the children who are born with horrible illnesses, or little kids? I mean, there's nothing wrong with their thought patterns. I don't think everything is able to be changed by our thoughts, because the earth is poisoned, the air is poisoned, the food is poisoned, the mothers are poisoned. We live in a world of intense cruelty, always have, that sort of thing. But you can't, I can't, you know, the classic, Hitler was healthy till he killed himself. Now, we'll look at those thought patterns. A little child, some babies, billions, millions, you know, with horrible things. Is there a way in your way of looking at things that answers that?
Yes, I think that's a very good point that you're bringing up. Because we who are conscious can make that decision and make the thought pattern change. But again, in looking at the way that I see things with the soul progression, I look at my life that I was up in the heavens with the Creator, and He put His arm around me and He said, look down here in this place, this earth, and select the people that will help you to achieve your next step in life, regardless of what that step may be. And if a soul chooses to come into the world with an illness or debilitating illness or something that is going to help them take the next step progression, not only that, but to bring the knowledge and the wisdom to the people who are going to be their caregiver, then the knowledge is brought to the world by that child who is a soul who has come back for the learning process of that soul progression. That's the way I see it.
That's the way you see it. Thank you.
Nothing is wasted. Yes, ma'am.
Another side of that, if a lot of bad things that happen are because of our results from the thought patterns of people. Maybe it's the pharmaceutical company or something else, but if we can all work at the universal thought pattern changing, there will be less of all those things you listed. I know it won't happen tomorrow, but if each of us changes our individual thought pattern, we can help lead to taking better care instead of all the problems.
I'll get to you in just a second. Hold on. I've got a thought that I need to bring to this comment. I have a friend who lives in Midland, Texas, who has a child who is autistic, who has Down syndrome. He said, this is the best gift I could have ever received in my life,
Yeah.
because it has brought so much knowledge to him and wisdom about that specific illness, about having a child with that and how he needs to change his life. Not change hers, because her path is set. But he said, it's the best gift I could have gotten in life. Okay, thanks.
It's really interesting that you just said that, and that you're looking at it at that time too, because I'm autistic, and that's the way I see things. It is one of the great. I've come to realize it is one of the greatest gifts I've gotten. I was able to join the Special Olympics and help him, and that's how I found my purpose. But I was going to say the other thing too. I'm also a psychic, and I read past lives. And I remember my own, and a lot of people don't believe in it, and that's fine, but I know what I see and feel, and what I remember, and there is so much that we can bring over from life to life to life. And I had a friend that had a massive ulcer that when she got in it when she was 10, and part of it was because of the stress of her childhood, and that's what kind of brought it on. But I did kind of a past life thing with her, and it turns out she was there was a lot of pain that was still there that she was carrying, and once we talked about that, she let it go, and the ulcer reduced itself to about a quarter of its size once we went through all that. So it is, a lot of it is, past lives and past healings and stuff. And I have another friend who's just come back into town. She has the same thing. She's a healer, and she helps people. I think a lot of how she helps people is by helping them release the energies that are already there. So I get what you're saying.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I'd like to suggest that perhaps we as individuals can think of ourselves as individual entities rather than as a part of a collective entity. And that perhaps, I mean, in the Buddhist tradition, they speak of that suffering is part of life. And that's part of the learning process is through suffering. Maybe this person over here suffers a lot, and maybe I don't suffer. Suppose I don't suffer. But that doesn't mean I'm not part of the collective suffering. And if we can see it as a collective, as in the poem that was, what was said earlier about Gaia, Earth as a entity, as a organism, and us as parts of that organism, that there's always some kind of suffering to respond to and to deal with, if we think of ourselves as part of a collective rather than as an individual. I'm staying alone, I got mine, you get yours.
I agree. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
In medicine from India called Ayurveda, we have 9 causative factors of disease. And the elements that makes everything up are the 5 elements: ether, air, fire, water, earth. And then the other 4